Thanks for staying with us. So, sadly, over 31 persons were feared dead, with others injured following a stampede at the Polo Club in Port Harcourt over the weekend. According to reports, the incident occurred during a free shopping program organized by King's Assemblies Church in Port Harcourt. The program was organized to help the underprivileged get gifts, which included food items, free of charge, and other healthcare. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because this conversation for me is not so much about the incident. It's more about the Nigerian factor. Because what we complain about our leaders, we do exactly the same thing. We can put this in the parts of organization, structure, execution. These are all things, because accidents does happen in different places. But to reduce accidents, people put certain things in place. The other factor is the hunger in the land. The fact that there are people who would do anything to get something that is free. What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read the tweets. Right. Mariam, want to go first? Because this...
So because it's also something that was done from a good place, it's sad that it turned out the way it did. Because we've always encouraged individual participation in helping, the underprivileged in our country. We always say we don't have to depend on government to do everything. So this was actually something that would have been an amazing thing, life-changing, at least help many people. To put that together would have cost them a lot of money. But then we have to now talk about the issue of health and safety measures that we in Nigeria, or Nigerians, never take seriously. To bring a whole crowd of people to a place, you must think ahead. That foresight is important to understand that there may be stampede. There's nowhere in Nigeria, no matter how small the crowd, that you want to give anything free. Even if there are just 5 people, you see them just running, trying to grab at each other and pulling each other down. It happens all the time. And also, given that it's a church and they must have done big events like this before, it would have been, it's surprising that they did not put those measures in place. A queue would have been done, it would have been followed, more security would have been stationed, because so I don't know how much security they put there, because I heard that a police officer was disarmed, so he was there. So how many of them were there? Were there enough security to just help manage the crowd, or we just do things the way we normally do things? It's really sad that it ended with,
what is
in
more
this
painful
tragedy.
that this has happened in River State before. Back in 2020, if you recall, in, I think it's Rumudara along the east-west road in Port Harcourt, where 8 people died back in 2020. I think it was during that, we had the COVID-19 palliatives and all that. 8 people died. And you think with that kind of experience, the government would have put structures in place, because I know that in Lagos State, for example, I don't know how it is, but for my mom's burial, for example, we had to get a letter approving in a certain number of people in the hall. You know how we carelessly just get a party and just everybody just, I'm doing TBS, everybody just comes. But COVID taught us that you need to get approval for the number of people. So it goes back to organization. How are we organizing ourselves? I'm talking about, I'm pointing the fingers at ourselves.
Yes.
We just do things anyhow.
Yes, and I think that I'm all for the Nigerian factor in this. I'm all for the Nigerian factor, because regardless of the fact that, giveaways would always attract some level of commotion in putting it together, I think that it's very important that we realize that the Nigerianness in us is what showed up in that magnitude of 31 people getting killed in the stampede, because it's just that selfish hurry to satisfy ourselves. So my church does benevolence, we call it benevolence, and there was a time that we over-organized security, ambulance. My church is always big on, let's plan every scenario possible and prepare for the worst. But even in that preparation, it was still, people were on the queue. But what we realized was we were on the queue for so long. So some people were on the queue, they came in 6 a.m. and they were on that queue till like 6 p.m. because we were trying to be orderly. And that was the last time we did a general giveaway. So we split it into different local governments and sub-units giving away as opposed to everybody gathering on one crowd. Because you want to, it was a case of the leaders asking themselves, is it for photo op so that we can show we gave away millions of things and everybody can see the picture that we gave away? Or we actually want to make life easier for people? So in my case, that we must keep thinking for the human being, how to make people feel more humane. Then the Nigerian factor comes in the fact that if they say queue up, they will not queue up. So everybody instead of the queue, you will see one person just jump into the front and feel like I'm a generalismo, I can override everybody. And if people now start looking at the person and also getting irate, and like they would jump in as well, and everything just goes haywire. So it's not about the number of security officials you put there. You put 1 million security officials there, the 1,000,001 Nigerians will scatter and disarm the security officials. So it's important that we start teaching ourselves to follow rules. Yeah. But it's follow obedience, follow the rules, value human life, wait for your turn. It's just a few minutes after, and you will get what is supposed to come to you.
When this wait for your turn thing, I mean, we'll come to you, Nima, because ordinary getting on the plow, I was so upset when I went to Abuja recently. You know how you sit down in the reception and they say it's time for you to board, and everybody jumps up at the same time, rushing just to, guys, this is not down for. This is not Molueo. Okay, calm down. We're all going to enter this plane.
And you have a
they all rush in. Yes. And they're pushing, and I'm thinking, okay, take it, this is not Molueo. But just like that, we just have to be ahead. We have to be the first to get it and get in. And any other person can struggle to enter, that's their business. But Nima, there are children involved here. So you hear free. You carry your children along with you. And I mean, it was heartbreaking to see that there were quite a few children in this.
So, I come from a bit of humble background, and I must say this, when I read this story, parents must now start to learn to teach their children a bit of self-respect. I remember growing up, my mom would never go for a family event, whatever event, weddings, and carry her 4 children. We're 4 them. You know the way mothers will now lap them. You can't afford it. You put the children, they will come to the party, they'll be forced to eat. No. You must stay home, and whatever she has, you must eat it. Whatever she has at home should be okay for you. Parents must start to train their children. I saw this happen, this kind of thing happen during the COVID palliatives give-out. And then they were breaking warehouses in my own area in Amuodofin. They attacked warehouses in Maza. People were carrying their children
to go and hustle their
they were telling them to hustle. As you carry, enough of the noodles that you carry, whatever you carry, as much as you can carry. And I was like, I remember my parents would never feed their children such thing that they brought, not talk of their children bringing. Parents must start to teach their children. This hardship we are shouting, it don't hard before, it's not today. Life is time. Yes. There was one sharp time when we would say sawdust. We're using sawdust to make food. Yeah. There was no kerosene. Then gas was a big man's thing. We'll go and fetch sawdust and we'll make our food morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and cool out the food. And I grew up and see I'm here today. I cannot imagine. I will beat my child to black blue if I see my child in such a state. Because my parents would never accommodate it in their house. And we grew up with our own dignity. Never did I go and carry plates to somebody's house and say, we don't have food today, come and give us. It was always a thing that, you know, my mom would say, we have excess. Bring your friends home.
I understand that,
so it's important. In this case, because it was a shop for free. It was a shop for free. And the moment you saw that it was a shop for free, did you have to bring your children? No. One is enough for the family, but that wasn't enough for them. Then you bring children. If you see it's getting rowdy, it's just the same thing I do when I get to public transport. Yes. If you are rushing into the bus, I step aside before I will lose myself and my phone. Exactly. And my important thing. So you step aside. Once you start getting rowdy, some people try to leave before that whole thing went crazy. No. One person went out of the crowd that stopper said, and the other people then joined and said, no, you need to mention you first. Right. So
last year, my birthday, I went to give away shoes at Monkey Village, shoes and food and clothes. And I knew, we had an idea number of people that usually live in Monkey Village, but we made extra provision. They were not up to 100. Nima knows we bought 100 shoes to go and give away them. So when they were coming, I said, we have enough shoes for everybody. So there's no need for you to jump.
What did they do?
People went to import, like they went to bring children. And the pastor was saying, these people are not Monkey Village people. No. So they went to bring more children. Then parents were coaching the children to lie that they had not gotten. I said, I saw you. I gave you. So is that culture of is a culture that we need to it's a culture we need to deal with. And until we deal with that culture, it will show up in different. It will show up here. It will show up in government. How can what are we doing? I see the way the elections went for primaries, and I'm like, because of money, Nigerians. So that is it.
So for me, I remember growing up in Jos. It was a whole different life, and even Lagos used to be used as an example of how not to live. We would stop when you were supposed to stop for transportation. You will hail the cab will stop for you, and then you go in. If you had to join a queue, we'll all wait, you join a queue, one after the other. That was how I grew up. And I will remember people will be telling us, Lagos, they don't stop. You have to fly out of the bus before, before it stops and everything. And we would hear people say, Lagos is not a place to raise children. But sadly, that culture has spread, even in those areas where they seem to have had it together. Sanity. And now it has become the culture of Nigeria. And I feel that we can go back there. We used to do it. Some people could do it. We can go back there, start teaching our children the better way to live. But one thing about it is, like me, we tell our children, you stop at the red light. And I've had my children sometimes, while we're stopping at the red light, the car passes, and like, why is that car going ahead? So they are now learning that you are not smart if you don't break the rules. Because that's the Lagos mentality, is that you have to break the rules. That means you're smarter than the other person that's following.
When you come back, we'll take a phone call. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this matter that happened in Port Harcourt. And I am particularly concerned that the government didn't take cues from the accident that happened back in 2020. It's not even the first time it's happened, even across the country. You would think that there'll be regulations as regards crowded places. If you have an event, usually people take permits. You should take permits. If you want to have an event such as this, there should be a permit. How many people are you expecting? What are the security you're putting in place? How you're ensuring orderliness? These are things a state or a local government should be in charge. Maybe not the state government, but a local government should have. These are the functions of local government that we've been eroded over the years. Every little thing like that you want to do in a community, you must take a permission and you must have proper plans in place. There was no way a crowd like that shouldn't have been properly controlled. I mean, as I said, one of the lessons the world learned from the insurrection that happened in America is that there's craze everywhere. Like America is the almighty America. There's craze everywhere. So as crazy as they are, we are also crazy. And there's just got to be orderliness. And how do you get orderliness? When you have leaders who put policies in place and actually implement it. Let me take a few calls before we come to the ladies again. Good morning. Are you there? Hello. Thank God. Are you there? Oops. Thank God. Are you still there? I think we lost that call.
So I was going to say, when Miriam talked about the traffic lights or the red lights, not disobedience or whatever, that one of the things I noticed when growing up, the best way to teach a child patience and obedience of law is to use a pedestrian bridge. So on Western Avenue, then my primary school, my parents would say, find a pedestrian bridge, and it requires you trekking to a longer distance and then trekking back a shorter distance. But doing it over time just taught me. Why not? Why can't I then wait for a traffic light when that one is even faster? And I see a lot of Lagosians not using it. Right under the Ojota there, they cross the road. The thing that will avert an accident is there. So, see, government can only do so much. But a lot of things are our self-trained, our self-control, our behaviors towards, how to use this thing. So somebody has decided, come and shop for free. Things are hard. And then it's not your money. It's not like it's your entitlement somewhere. You just have to queue. And so that it gets to you and gets to somebody else. But no, I must get 2, 3. It's free now. I must hazard the team. I must collect my own, collect double. And then you see these kind of things happening. I'm sure that the providers of that entire event would have provided for everybody there if a little bit of patience on Nigeria.
I went to the embassy recently. I'm trying to get my visa. And there's a lady, they're trying to be orderly. So, of course, the crowd comes in, all right? And the guy was very clear. Everybody line up this way, according to how you came in. This woman just went from the back and just thought she was smart. And she just went to go and sit down in the seat. And I'm like, And everybody saw her, and she was acting as if nobody saw her. Okay, auntie, it's not your turn. And she was just like, no, I was here, like, come on. Like, really?
Yeah.
So these are Nigerian factors. So, you know, we are people ourselves. We are at fault.
So you know how you called her out? And sometimes what would happen is everybody else would tell you to please shut up. And encourage her bad behavior.
Yeah.
So then we have now learned, okay, this matter, you're trying to shunt and find your way. But if you have people who will join you and embarrass her for doing something foolish, she would go back and never repeat it again. So there's this culture that we have right now, and we need to do all that we can to change it, because whether we like it or not, this is the seed of that's what we see in all the kidnappings, in all the crime that's happening, because even in the little things, we cannot abide by the proper way to do things.
Let me take this call. Thank God you're back. Are you there? Hello, thank God you're there. Hello. Okay.
So, borrowing from what you said, I feel that it's good for us to call out ourselves as individuals, but it's also important for us to understand the responsibility of a government. There's something about our system of governance that is very lukewarm. You know, sometimes we're hot, sometimes we're cold. Most times we're lukewarm. And when you create a system of lukewarmness, people can deal with lukewarmness. Yes. I don't mind. I can stay in the warm water like that. Because if I don't want hot water, I don't want cold water, let me be lukewarm. And the government okays with lukewarm. And that is where we are, where that's impunity, where anything goes, where disobedience, disorder is the law of the day. If you want to be hot, government, be hot. If you don't want bike, ban bike. If you want everybody to use helmets, let them use helmets. It's not that they'll use helmets for 3 months and then 6 months down the line, you've forgotten that you gave a law for helmets and then nobody is implementing it, and they will drive by you without helmet and you say, I cannot catch all of them, let me let them go. You are hot, you are hot. Because that indecision, many things will fall through the cracks. And that is the reason we are so disobedient. Because we know even the law cannot catch everybody. So, and it is important that we decide as a government, and we are government, that whenever we make a decision, no matter how uncomfortable this is, we will stick to it. Because that consistency over time is how discipline happens. Discipline does not happen because you withhold yourself for 1 day. It is consistency of saying no to what is wrong, saying yes to what is right. Then your society realizes that
and making tough choices.
We don't take that tough choice.
Let me take this final call because we have to run on this. I think Thank God is really insisting on calling the show. Are you there? Thank God. Hopefully for the.
Oh.
Okay, we can't reach you.
Okay, so
let me wrap up with Tunima.
Yes, that, you know, it's also very important that we ensure that justice is done. So one of the times I went for my COVID injections, I saw something. The system was set up. We preload our information. You come in, you put your names down, and all of that. So I came in late the day before, and the queue was extremely long. I waited. And also we wrote our names down. I said, okay, those of you on this list, if you can show up again tomorrow, you'll be the first to come. And the next morning, the list don't lose. You know? So you know how frustrated after getting there around 12, having to wait till 4, you know, you just were hopeful that, okay, the next day, if you can just do it a bit earlier, and then you came and there was a long list, and all of them are saying, we came first. Nobody's ensuring that you read the list of the day before. And those people too don't trust the system. They believe that all of us on that day before list were somehow implanted. And, you know, so patience again. In such a situation, I just put my hand on my cheek like this. See, somebody mentioned my name by mistake and I went in. You know, so we need to learn whether or not we trust the system, to be patient and then still try as much as possible to follow the rules.
All right, do you have any messages before we wrap up on this?
All of them are saying happy anniversary.
Hey,
thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I think that's all we can take on this segment. Our hearts go out to the 31 people who have passed on. Their families, their loved ones. Is indeed sad. And also hearts go out to the state of, in River State also. We pray that the Lord will give them the fortitude to bear this loss. This should not happen again. Not really. This is where it's one thing to blame the governor, but I want to put the buck here at the local government. Every local government chairman should become effective. Every public place, polo club, there should be rules and regulations that should be implemented. Let's stop putting everything at the table of the governor. The state government, the local government, the chairman, those who are closest to the people should take charge, responsibility for these kind of things. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.